All right, we're live. No flash intro today because I guess StreamYard is making you pay for all of that stuff now. So I haven't decided yet if I want to pull the trigger and pay for all the extra goodies, which made the Monday show the Monday show. But thought I would come back here a little early. My planned comeback was more September time, but recently I've been placing some Discogs orders, and I just kind of felt like maybe this would be a good time to, at least warm back up, give you a little Discogs rant. And I'm actually going to combine a Facebook Marketplace rant in here too. I think I called it Facebook Garbage Place in one of the recent Gazebo videos here. But I got some messages here. Let's catch up to them. We have Arnie Zanzibar. Waxed, I have friends. People like me. I'm going to meet up with some friends after the show, etc. Indicates a man in desperation on a downward spiral, begging for attention and acceptance. That's kind of what I gathered from it. Usually, when you have to let people know about your social life, it's duly noted, Rob. Anyways, we got will Jimmy Cardboard Barnes start wearing a belt anytime soon, or has Vindaloo consumption got out of hand? I haven't heard from Jimmy Barnes. I don't know if he keeps a low key. I made an appearance on the Rachel's Ghost show yesterday, and I told Rachel after the show I might make like a brief appearance on her show. Maybe not every week, but yeah, I didn't see Jimmy Barnes in there trolling. I sure had about half the peanut gallery trolling me, and I don't know. I'm sure Rachel gets a little bit of entertainment out of that. But anyway, we got. Why does McGrath have a tourniquet close by at all times? When you're raising a couple children and they completely resent you, it leads you down that downward spiral that Jimmy Barnes has gotten himself into. But anyways, Bill 86K, nothing more than a wrench bot with a K-Tel vinyl to his shame. Well, he doesn't have a wrench here, and there's a reason for that. So we got why does Vinyl Richie dislike Mark Lindsay? I might be having him up on the channel here before too long, so we could ask him. But I am one of us. I am one of you as well. Hello, how are you? Let's see. Spring Hill Jim, can you address the allegations that you have no content? I think you're hanging out and talking to the wrong people again, Jim. Like I said, I tried to warn you about some of the bad influences here in the VC. I have content, original content planned for the month of September. Very excited for it. I'm so excited that I'm holding out. I want to be a little patient. So you guys know me. I am one of the few people in the VC who takes perusing through a thrift store bargain bin as a badge of honor. I consider that to be original content. One thing I told Rob yesterday, Jim, I guess, while if you want to throw this up, the example I wanted to give, you don't need to go up and booty kiss Rob. Seems a little silly. Anyways, Dave, Psychedelic Sunday as always. Mother is being bankrolled. I would not shock me by the man-child Loki. Plenty of man-children hanging out in Mother's peanut gallery. But anyways, original content, we have it here for you today. First off, I guess I did do the live at the Gazebo where I wanted to show you this record. Now, I'm going to talk about it briefly. Very happy to have this back in my collection. In my collection. This is my first copy. This is the first Denise Klon LP with her group March for Christ. A little bit different here. So this is alongside Roxy Wakefield, who is this gentleman, and then Monty Ness, who is right up there. And this was kind of like actually sort of headed by Roxy Wakefield, and he was a freshman in college at the time of this recording, while Denise and Monty were freshmen in high school. So we kind of offered their guidance. He was a little bit more seasoned of a musician, and a lot different kind of sound. This sounds like Denise is with a band compared to her other two records that I'm very familiar with. Bill Casolari does do some musicianship on here, but you don't notice it as much in other Crusade releases, or including Crusade releases I've heard that are not Denise. But I want to emphasize the Acid Archives, who didn't really say the nicest thing about Denise in here, but at the same time, I have about a dozen or more. I haven't exactly counted them up. Releases from the Acid Archives. Getting ready to review one here soon, but it's another Omaha-based record that I have 4 copies of, and a 45 that is not even listed on Discogs. So that's kind of the thing. I do want to go back and do the Denise video, but cover all of her records and not just the one. And that was kind of the reason recently why I only did Closer to the Savior. And that was really just to get that out for you guys. I know that there were people like Vinyl Piper was anticipating me doing the review for that record. But anyways, the Omaha record I'm going to review here soon. Not going to let you know what it is now. But if that record can go in there with a nice little blurb in the Acid Archives, by all means, this specific record belongs in the Acid Archives. Listening to this, the Rhodes piano that Denise plays throughout this record, I would challenge to have this on in the same room as Dave the Pickup Artist, or Psychedelic, or Dom Seeking the Thread. And I think her Rhodes piano playing on here would come straight from any Psych record that you guys own or have reviewed. And it's funny. I think the trouble or the difficulty we might have with this is, one, it is hard to find, and as a result, we don't really know what to say of it exactly. This is not really on the internet for people to listen to, unfortunately, but I would like to get it up there. It is a fantastic record, and it truly tells the story of Denise and the album she put out during her lifetime. And another thing I was going to mention about it, so Monte Ness writes a couple of songs on here. Denise writes one as well. And their songwriting, especially Monte Ness, it's a borderline pretty wicked psych folk lyrics. And one thing I wanted to say about psych folk is it has a way of really invoking emotion that, like, a psych rock record could do with an instrument. Psych folk artists do it lyrically, or they might put their guitar out of tune slightly. So that's kind of where you get psych folk, or like, I think even recently talking about Bob Dylan, and maybe he was lost in the late 60s. He actually was the inventor of psych folk. And he was the one who sort of inspired it directly or indirectly. And I even sort of hear that psych folk influence right in this record. And just want to give it a little brief review. Very happy to have this record. And yeah, I guess here, living in the area, I didn't think it was going to be this difficult. But anyway, I guess here on a side note, going to be talking about Discogs, sellers, etc., grading. And while I'm very thankful to have this, the person who sold it to me didn't exactly represent it right. At the same time, it's just difficult for me to complain, because I'm very happy to have it. But anyways, on that note, I'm going to just talk about this very briefly. Mentioned in the gazebo video, which is shut down because if you were watching that, the summer breeze blew my Seals and Crofts record away. I know. Anyways, been looking out for the first couple Evie records. 1971. These were released in Norway and not in the U.S. That's why it's so difficult for me to kind of find these. But just kind of wanted these specifically because it does sort of tell the story of Denise Klon's influences. But the one thing I was going to say, similarly to Denise's music, you hear their influences, like their pop influences. So I was going to say, you really, you hear that Evie loves Motown. She doesn't sound like she's making Motown pop records, but in her singing style, it's very soulful, kind of like, maybe like Laura Niro or Jackie DeShannon. But very cool having these. If you guys come across these ever, Evie records on Word, very easy to find. But this was very cool. Nice Sunday morning record. But just wanted to talk about this briefly, as I've been on the lookout for this record for a while. Anyways, picked this record up too. Fantasy. This is 1970. Had never seen it before. Come to find out, I was more familiar with it than I thought. Now I'm going to open up the gatefold. This is a Florida-based psych group. Looking it up on Discogs, they sort of categorize it as prog. It didn't seem very proggy to me. Maybe a little bit too early. They sort of fit more in the mix of psych or psych rock, or it gets very fuzzy at times. I kind of think it's more along the lines of like maybe poppy psych, or like, feminine psych that may have had like a couple glasses of Starbucks drinks. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. No Starbucks back then. But no, kind of like that, less fuzzed out, less bass driven, but I guess it still gets a little bassy. I've only listened to it one time so far, but actually, the last track on here, which is What's Next, is sampled by Jay Dilla. So that's where I recognized the song. And so kind of funny how I found this record for $1 over the weekend. Accidentally picked up a Jay Dilla sample I didn't know about. So the song Jay Dilla used it for was Most Def, Can You See the Pride in the Panther, which was actually written by Tupac Shakur as a poem and never performed by Tupac, but later picked up for like a Tupac tribute project. And Jay Dilla and Mos Def, it was, I think that was their first solo collaboration, but Mos Def had been on another Jay Dilla track prior to that. But no, very cool to find this record. Great shape, VG Plus, and you know what VG Plus is, guys. I could show you here real quick. You just got a very clean record. You hold it up to the light, you may see a scratch or two, but you can pretty much guarantee this is going to be a very clean listen. VG Plus. So I'm just trying to hold this up so you guys kind of know what that looks like. Because I'm going to be talking about grading here now that I've kind of shown you guys a few records that picked up here recently. Give you a review. And I'm going to talk about Discogs here because gearing up to do a video here in September. You guys know I've been up in the cheesecake factory up at Canesville. And I mean, I am looking in bargain bins. I got accused of holding up only shitty records yesterday by the Waxed. Well, there's kind of a reason for that right now. And coincidentally, the new Taylor Swift is going to feature a cheesecake-like album cover. And funny enough, I mean, I was on the curve of this. You guys can't say that I wasn't. But anyways, looking for some of these records. Yes, a lot of them are easy to find. I'm showing some of those to you right now. Some of them are not as easy to find, and I have placed a couple special orders on Discogs because I want it to be part of the video. But anyways, that said, okay, so one thing is I am sort of going through this framing phase where I am removing record covers from old frames and putting some new ones. Well, I took out Miss Billie Holiday, Lady in Satin, and I found a record on Discogs that was listed VG Plus. This is Lady in Satin 6i label to match this. So one thing I wanted to mention, I mentioned yesterday how I like to Frankenstein. Shout out to all the Frankensteins in the VC, not just myself. But when you guys Frankenstein a record, essentially, you give the world a whole new copy. So I did that with 2 copies of the first Black Sabbath and then 3 copies of Paranoid. and then one copy of Diary of the Madman. So here recently, I was, over the last, 10 years, you see those sort of scraps off to the side, you see a beater copy, maybe you can do something else with it. And you guys don't realize, in this day and age of where it's harder to find and track down Black Sabbath records, and now we got Rhino hi-fis to choose from. You realize you offer the world another copy. So I just wanted to stress that. So kind of what I was working with here. Also wanted to have my own personal copy, but graded VG Plus, and I just showed you what VG Plus looked like. This one might be harder to see, but when I held it up to the light, visual G Plus on this, and yeah, you can just kind of see scratches. I'm gonna maybe just hold this up a little bit. Graded VG Plus, received it, visual G Plus, played it on my turntable. First song, 2 skips. Second song, skipped, and it popped my bubble from wanting to listen to the record. So, anyways, I'm at this point now with Discogs sellers, and this particular one had an inventory of 150,000. So I can only imagine the type of room you're in. Maybe you're in a warehouse. Maybe you have a large record store. Anyway, this is the first problem I'm running into with people with large inventories is they're not thoroughly checking out any of their product. They're not cleaning it very well. And then same seller, same issue. Al Green, Let's Stay Together, had this cover laying around for years. And yes, I have a copy of this, but it's like, I want to be able to offer the world something. It's part of what I do as a record seller, or why I stick around in bargain bins, because you see these jackets floating around all the time. Well, anyway, same seller. I can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Experienced seller. I got a little bit of negative and neutral, but I mean, I'm going to take a chance. Graded this VG. When I get this, I look at this, and visually, this side A was near mint. Side B, though, had a skip on it. So maybe that's why they said VG. But I email the seller and I say, I disagree with the grading on these entirely. I tell them why. And the trouble you get with these discrepancies sometimes is you won't hear from the seller for a few days. So what does that mean? It leaves you to file like a dispute on PayPal to get the seller's attention. So had to get a full refund, and I was told not to even send these back. So I guess I have free copies, and reason why I'm having this video is to tell you guys to look out for. I'm going to say this, guys, 99.8% on Discogs start to have trust issues, and I mean it. When you start to see inventories of 40,000 or more, have trust issues, because how do you know that person is thoroughly checking their product? Check their feedback, check what they say in their neutral. And, check how often they have neutrals, because, to some people like myself, I kind of consider neutral feedback to be negative. And, it is what it is. And I understand grading is arbitrary. But for the most part, you should be following certain rules. If you check a record and it appears to have background noise, you look at the record, say, okay, without even playing this, it looks like it's going to have background noise. Start to think G+. If you have a record cover and it's starting to fall apart, so you got splits here, start to think G+. A VG cover, think for a second. Think VG actually for a second, because a lot of people abuse VG on Discogs. And they just look like, or like there's a guy down at Topeka, Time Machine Records, who just looks at everything and is like, oh, that's not bad, and puts a $15 sticker on it. And, it's not just, it's not just with Discogs and Facebook Marketplace. There are record stores doing that stuff right now, too. And anyways, when your record jacket seam splits, start to think G+. If you're getting seam splits that are 1.5 inches or longer, G+. If you have a cover that looks mostly VG plus, but has like a 1-inch split, you can say VG. But I want to stress this because a cover that's fully intact that has a lot of shelf wear on it is technically what VG should fall under. If you could have a fully intact cover, but a lot of shelf wear or a lot of ring wear, and you start to think G plus. So don't be afraid to say G plus. It's okay. In fact, I like G plus because technically a G plus should play mostly VG. On that note, anything you list on Discogs, even F condition, should be a mostly VG play grade. Know when to say poor, because I ordered a record that was G condition for the sake of cover replacement, and which this is a fantastic record, not your everyday Ramsey Lewis. Quick side jump in, a quick brief review here. Not your everyday Ramsey Lewis record. I think this might be 69. This is a 75 repress, I want to say. But Ramsey Lewis totally, progressing with the times, a lot more funky on here. There's even some hip hop samples on here, which are totally killer. But yeah, piano playing like he's Mother Nature's son. It's and a wonderful looking cover as well there too. Anyways, ordered that from Discogs for Frankensteining purposes, and that was the thing. It's like G condition. It's like on that one it was okay, but G condition is like by definition a worn record that plays through without skipping. Now, know when to say F and know when to say P. If you got a record that plays through, but the entire side is just like snap, crackle, pop, Rice Krispies, go down to F, go down to P. If your record is basically totally fried, then it's like I was saying, your F conditions should still be mostly a VG play grade. You can have a couple skips. Note your skips on the record. Note where they're at. But for the rest of the ride should be for the most part, a clean listen. But I'm getting a little bit tired of people sort of abusing this rule on Discogs. And, I understand the gratification of finding a record out in the wild and like everybody wants it, but it's not in the condition that, everyone wants it in. But let's just say it is. And then I'll get the money that I want. Then I'll get paid for my gratification. And then, the other guy on the other end can suck it. And I'm getting tired of that. When I grade and I sell records on Discogs, I try to do it conservatively. I want the person to get it in the mail and have a happy experience and not be disappointed and not get something that they were not expecting. Or an example, last week, another cover replacement. And that's just the weird thing with me is I have a tendency to find records out in the wild and use Discogs to sort of, upgrade. But same thing last week, guy says, you cover in VG plus, start to look at the edge wear, and it's both records. VG plus had 1-inch splits at the opening. He accepted my return and just this morning gave me a refund. But then in the refund, in the message said there were no splits on the cover. And it's like I'm getting a lot of that too, a lot of pushback, a lot of not my fault, not my responsibility, or a lot of these stores that have like 40,000 plus inventory will blame it on like, oh no, it was another employee who did it. And, I don't know, I can't tell you the amount of record stores that I've been in where they have one guy doing Discogs and everyone else, attends to other stuff. But let me think if there is anything else here that I want to include on this rant. And I guess, let me see. Jimmy Barnes 8 is in. Oh, welcome, Dave, to the Pick Bars. I think I said that one. Okay. I'm impressed that your relationship with Rob seems to be improving. It was a very touching moment yesterday when he confided he was having phallic shortcomings. No, that was Porch Pineapple. I actually saw your message and I would have opened the show with that, but then StreamYard deletes your messages after 12 hours or whatever. But no, when I was we were having the hair argument where I think the new thing, since everyone has trouble dissing my music game, I know it's hard, guys. You have to look at my appearance, and it's okay. The funny thing about it, the only people making fun of my hairline themselves have poor hairlines. So anyways, no, Rob made a slip up, and I didn't correct him because technically he was right when he said he was phallically challenged. Because he meant to say follically challenged, which that means you're balding. Phallically challenged, which sounds about as accurate for a guy like him. That's why I didn't chime in and correct. But no, I think that's funny that you pointed that out here. But the wax is so broke that he went to McDonald's and put a Big Mac on layaway. Wow, they must be getting expensive. I haven't eaten at McDonald's in 4 years. That's a fact. Rob said he was follically challenged, not phallically challenged, and Jimmy is just challenged. Yeah, no. Anyways, Willie the boy, the VC boy that Santa Claus forgot, the self-proclaimed jackass, back at it. Welcome, James. Like I said, man, I mean, you're here to listen to better music than mall punk. But anyways, Jimmy Barnes never met an EBT card he didn't like. Brother has to eat. Anyways, do the stickers come off? If I'm lost in translation, I apologize. Okay, well, anyways, I kind of wanted to keep the rant a little bit short and sweet here today, and just kind of keep it to kind of the Discogs theme, and wanted to give you guys the warning and what to watch out for. Trust sellers with 100%. I have had issues just recently with the guy though, 100%, and sending me covers that had 1-inch seam splits on it. So got to watch out for that. No, so the stickers on, yeah. I think if he's talking about that sticker on here that said $0 on it, I picked at it a little bit, and it is what it is. So didn't come off, but I just had to say, for the, the one LP I've been driving around Iowa for the last few years, can I really complain to have a copy? So I'll take it with the sticker. But anyways, guys, I think that's it. We're gonna just warm it up here with a quick 30-minute little show. And then also next week, Des Moines Record Show. I think I'm gonna be making the trip out there. Might be doing a live from the gazebo on that one, but that'll be next Sunday. And yeah, I guess real briefly, I guess I could touch up on my summer here. I love driving around, summer sales, garage sales. Have had a lot of luck at antique shops during the summer. So that's kind of what I like doing with my summer. And hot weather, I love it. And then I love working up a sweat and just jumping into the pool. After a long, hard days, of digging for records, and pays off to, have a Coors Light and jump in the pool. Anyway, got a lot of records I want to review here soon. Acid Archives, and then other psych-related stuff. Psychedelic Monday will be on the way. So, anyways, guys, thanks for being here. No flash outros, so we're just going to call it quits. See you next time.